What are you making?
We are making stop motion animations, and it's part of the film festival, Martha's Vineyard Film Festival in Cinema Circus. So we have a few different setups, a homemade and our more professional setups. You can use any objects you have at home. Perhaps you have children. And it's an app you can get for your phone or an iPad, and it's simple. It takes a little bit of time, but it's really satisfying, and you can preview it as you go. So we're just doing a little preview, and we're doing camp this summer, so we're hoping people will try it out.
Thank you very much. So, what are you making?
I'm making a racing simulator. I built it out of a go-kart frame. Basically what I've done is I've taken a go-kart frame and stripped it from all of the parts that make it move, and applied sensors to it, and I've hooked up monitors to it and connected it to my computer. So basically all of the sensors that are attached to the pedals and the wheel give feedback to the computer, and the computer runs a game, Project Cars. Basically the de facto standard for racing simulators. It's compatible with a lot of control systems, even so compatible with control systems that I was able to come up with custom controls on my own, hooking the sensors up. It's Arduino based. The Arduino is emulating a gamepad based on the feedback from the pedals, and that's what the game sees. And with all that together, it's basically how to, build a racing simulator, and that's what I've done.
Great, thank you. So, what are you making?
So we are making beets with fruit, banana beets, lime beets, orange beets, and we're basically using a makey, which is a circuit board, and turning these conductive fruits into touchpads instead of using keys on the keyboard to activate certain sounds. And basically the way it works is you use your ground wire here with one hand, and you complete the circuit to send the signal back to the keyboard by touching a pad. And you're completing the circuit since the signal is going through your body and back into the makey, which is hooked into the keyboard.
Excellent, thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, so what are you making?
We are making minds, I guess. We're trying to get the young people involved in programming, both programming from computers to machines, like remote control robotics, as well as creating new environments to learn, to play in, to explore. It's all in the virtual reality world. We're primarily going to show off the Unity 3D API, but it seems like most everyone's just interested in experiencing it on a level a little higher than just using a cell phone, since this is actually a rig designed to provide 90 frames per second of a frame rate per eye. It doesn't allow any queasiness, and it feels safe even if you're 85 or 5.
Thank you.
All right.
So, what are you making?
Well, we are making it possible for kids to learn about aviation in a fun and exciting way that challenges them. They can build things, they can fly things. It's a lot of fun.
Great, thank you.
All right.
Making.
These are prosthetic arms that are 3D printed. So we print them on our 3D printer into many different parts, kind of like these ones. And so we put them together with pins and fishing line. So this is what the product will look like. The forearms are flat like this, and then you thermoform them in boiling water, and then they turn out like this. It takes about half an hour to turn your finger like this, and then it might take 8 hours to print the palm. So it all depends how big the object is.
Yeah. That's great. Excellent. Thank you. Megan.
Hi, my name's Allison, and we're showcasing our 3D printer that lives over at the Oak Bluffs Library. And what we really just want to let people know is that they can come to the library with any design that they have in mind, and we'll help them print it. For this year, anything that you wanted to print, we will do for free. So we just want to get the word out that this is now available. Yeah, that's very nice. Today, printing off the fan favorite, which for this year is these fidget spinners. So we're printing off cases and the caps for them, and we're just letting the kids hammer in the skateboard ball bearings.
Great.
So that's what we're doing, and we look to inspire people to, you know, express their creativity.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. What are you making?
We are making programmable robots for youth education using brains, microcontrollers of an Arduino platform, but it's programmable in Scratch and then extensible into C, and depending on what kids like to do, they can just build the robots, they can program them, they can work with all kinds of different sensors to provide input into routines, and it's a great education platform. And we've done a lot of other things, video game design, 3D, Python, Minecraft, but we're doing this right now.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
What are you making?
I'm making LED throwies, which are these fun things. They're LEDs, and then they can stick to metal.
Great. Thank you.
Ball launchers out of Gatorade bottles, rubber bands, and what else? String and beads and ping pong balls. And the finished launcher looks something like this.
Great.
That's what we do.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm Rob Chance. I'm making semi-hollow body electric guitars here. I've got a few here that are finished. I've got a couple that I'm in the works. And I'm just showing people, you know, some samples of what I do. I use interesting, I'm really into the wood. So I use, you know, some interesting figured maples. I have some koa wood. I use some mahoganies.
I'm displaying in my mode of transportation. I don't own a car. This is it. It's commercially produced. It's called a Bellow'mobile, which translated into English means bicycle car, human-powered vehicle. I do my grocery shopping with it. So it gets me where I'm going. It goes on the ferry with a $4 bicycle ticket. It's this one is about 21 months old with 9,500 miles on it. And I had a yellow one for many years, and that put over 32,000 on that in about 4.5 years. It's a great mode of transportation. It's fun. It's exercise. It's my midlife crisis convertible.
Well, great. Thank you.
My pleasure.
These are treasure boxes. This is a lifelong endeavor to clear out my junk.
That's great.
So they're done with different themes, and you can make your own if you want to either collect treasures, or maybe you have treasures that you want to use, and then you can create something with those treasures. Often the children's toys will come in these great wooden boxes. So these three are done with Melissa and Doug wooden boxes, as well as this piece. There's a cigar box, there's a codfish box, there's tins you could use, or you can use shadow boxes. These are from the thrift store. This one's kind of neat. This was some kind of container for an Easter treat. So really you can use anything. You could do a piece that's all natural themed, so you could maybe find shells, pine cones. I have all these wonderful little treasures here that you could use. Or maybe you have all kinds of odds and ends hanging around, and you say, well, this is just junk. Or maybe you create some fabulous piece of artwork. So I don't encourage you to keep junk. I encourage you to use junk. This box has all kinds of fun treasures. So, you know, the sky is the limit. You can find all kinds of weird pieces and then put them together in a creative way to tell a story.
That's great. Thank you.
That's what I've done.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
This is a wine bottle wall, and what you do is you have to, of course, you have to drill the holes, and then you take a cable like this, string your bottles, make your frames, string your bottles, and then you hang it so that it's sort of a screen for light. Of course, all I've got is green bottles, but it comes in different colored bottles. It makes it much nicer if you have blues and whites and all that in there. And I recycle. This is all from recycled stuff. This is the only thing I buy. That's also made from recycled. That's wheels and from an old cart. Beads I've gathered from somebody left them at the flea market or someplace. And then barrel rings. The yardstick. Turn right. And you just in a chunk of old 4x4 post that was pressure treated that I can put into the ground so that it'll sit in the yard.
That's great. Thank you.
Actually, I am demonstrating crochet. I have all kinds of crocheted items that I've made over a period of time that's on display. And, it's just kind of an old art that I'm trying to keep alive.
That's great. Thank you.
All right. Well, we're here today representing Chicken Alley Thrift Shop, which is in Vineyard Haven, which is the fundraising arm for Martha's Vineyard Community Services. And what we're doing today is demonstrating just some of the things that you can do with items that might have otherwise been thrown away. We started with t-shirts, and from making t-shirt tote bags and different items out of t-shirts. From that came our whole line, which we call Hatched, which is our own private label line, and we make a lot of different items in that. For example, this is a great pet bed that's made out of an old sweater, and we over-dye or shibori dye shirts, flannel shirts. We get hundreds and hundreds of these at the thrift store. We couldn't possibly sell them all, so we find another use for them. This is an example of a lovely cup and saucer that we make into a bird feeder. And again, we get just thousands of these cups and saucers. We couldn't possibly sell them all. And so these are just some examples of things we can do. We like the people to know that they don't have to throw something out, maybe if it's broken or stained, and if they don't donate it to the thrift store, there could be something else that they can do with it themselves.
That's great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
What are you making?
We're here from the West Tisbury Library, and we have the harmonograph, which makes different designs depending on how fast you swing the pendulums. We also have zipped pouches, which are Ziploc bags and duct tape. You can put your phone in it, you put snacks in it, stuff for the beach. And then Lariah is doing dream catchers.
Great. Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
What are you making?
So I'm making beer. I'm making beer, and I'm making beer making equipment is sort of what I try to showcase here. So all my equipment is homemade. It's a magnetic stir plate. This is a two-stage temperature controller with heating and cooling controls. And then I basically have all my ingredients, and I'm going through the process of creating sugar from grain, and then boiling that, adding hops, and then going into a fermenter and adding yeast and letting the yeast ferment that hot liquid into beer.
Perfect. Great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
What are you making?
We made windmills. We read this book called The Book Harnessed the Wind, and he made a windmill for his town and pumped water and gave light, electricity. So we try to do the same thing where we lit up the LEDs and we almost pumped a little bit of water. It wasn't that much, but we did a pretty good job with them. And as you can see, we're doing two and one LEDs at a time.
And explain how the energy is changing.
So, if I unplug one of these LEDs, it would go a lot faster, but if I plug it back on it, it would go slow because it's taking the energy from the motor and transferring it to the light, so it's lighting it up. And
what kind of energy is turning the blades?
Convection.
Good. And then it becomes what in the motor?
It becomes conduction, and then when it lights on the LED, it becomes radiation.
Great. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
What are you making?
I make a lot of stuff at my home. I made this foam cutter, and it cuts foam. I made this little gas mask. This tripwire, it sets off this light that I got from a Nerf gun. Then I'm trying to build a circuit that sets off an RGB LED, and I'm trying to show people how to pick locks at this station. It's kind of messed up right now, but we're using these acrylic locks to show people how locks work. And that's basically it.
That's great. Thank you.
No problem.
Well, so I'm helping people figure out about 3D printing, and then also behind over here you can see that they're using the Oculus Rift, and we're from the high school, Martha's Vineyard Regional High School Art Design Technology Department, and we're showing off some of the more technically minded things.
Great. Thank you. What are you making?
We are making ink prints. First draw an image, and then we retrace it using styrofoam, and then we roll ink onto it, and then press our ink into blank paper to get this.
Excellent. Thank you. So, what are you making?
I'm making needle felting. Today we're making mushrooms out of wool. We're compacting it down with a barbed needle into the shape that we want, and then the kids can go home with a mushroom. Yeah.
Great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, what are you making?
So we are making stuff up. We are making up stories. We have a table full of artifacts from the Martha's Vineyard Museum that reflect various aspects of our history. We know pretty much what all of these things are, but we're much more interested in making stuff up. We're hoping that people will generate stories that verge on myth or legend or folklore. It's been pretty great. We've had kids and adults all making up some crazy stories. If all goes well, we'll put on an exhibit of alternative artifacts.
Great, thank you.
The Native Americans originally made their arrowheads. This is a moose antler, and they would chip their rock through the antler. When they got their chip off, they would then take their chip. They would use a deer antler to nap the rock into a sharpened side, and sometimes they would use this for a scraper, for scraping the skin off leather if they got a nice sharp piece, or they would work it down hard enough to get an actual arrowhead. And then I call these cheap tools, but once they met the white man, the English or the British, they brought metals, and they showed and traded with the Native Americans for metals, and this made flint knapping a lot easier for them, so they could mass produce their arrowheads. You can go as big as war clubs, hatchets, but everything is made using natural materials like they use, no power tools, nothing more modern than a nail, and that's the flint knapping.
That's great.
Nature crafts. Remembering where we came from, and the hardest working person on earth is Mother Nature. She's tired sometimes, so let's give her a break and use some pieces that people throw away. Everything is an art. This, people would throw in their fire. I see an owl, and I just have to create this to make the owl. I made this out of a found deer skull and tree roots, but you don't see the beauty because it's underground. But if you take the time to wash this off, it's beautiful. And then I call him Father of the Forest. And I do gnome houses over here out of the same wood. This I just found on the side of the road. And it houses a family of 4. And they live in the house. And it's just a dead piece of wood. But to me, it's art.
That's good.
So everything in nature is an art. We just don't look at things the same today. And I'm trying to get kids especially to look up and around and see what's around them and not just what's on their screen in front of them.
That's great. Thank you.
Lego Pinewood Derby. Now, most kids have to be a Boy Scout to be able to do the Pinewood Derby, but they created these special wheels that fit on a Pinewood Derby track, that work with Legos. So now any kid with Legos who has a friend or anybody who has a Pinewood Derby track can do Lego car races. They can make any kind of car they want as long as they use these wheels. They can race their friends or themselves down the track over and over, creating more, bigger aerodynamics, and it's all about weight distribution, aerodynamics, and the more they run them, the more they learn heavier, faster, further, and that kind of stuff. So it's just another way of getting kids to use their imagination on their own instead of being told from something else what to do.
I'm making clay mugs, mermaid mugs. So I've made the mugs previously and I put on the mermaids here. So just to keep busy. And I had some kids in today and they were making mermaids too. And actually they took their own pots home, they made a bunch of pots too. They took them home. So that was a lot of fun. And it's nice having hands-on with the kids, not to play. And it's great fun.
Oh, what are you making?
We make giant, ridiculous fantasy weapons from video games. Andrew helps me. Yeah. This one has moving parts because of Andrew. Oh, Andrew also makes steam engines. Show up your steam engine there. Yeah.
That is the best. Thanks, you guys.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Let's ask you, so what are you making?
Pen. First you have to put one of these metal things in it and pick out some stuff for your
Go ahead. Artwork or whatever you want to be on your pen.
And
hot air balloon. You got your plastic mylar.
Then you have to put this over. Hold down as hard as you can.
Crimp.
Nice.
Now wait, where did it go? It's disappeared.
Then you put this.
Squiggles up on top. Yep.
Then put it down. And
put it on.
What are you making?
We are here to help make this fair possible. We're part of a volunteer organization and we came to help out the fair today. We're doing setup, helping anything there at the fair, and then helping with teardown as well.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
What are you making?
We're meta making. We're making maker spaces. So we're getting information from people about how they want to see spaces created on the vineyard that will support them to make things.
Great.
So we're asking them to help design these spaces, but they're too busy playing with the maker things over there. At some point, they'll be grateful to all of us who are working on making those spaces for them, but at the moment, all they want to do is play with the toys.
Thank you.
Oh, I am Barbara Plesser. I washed ashore on Martha's Vineyard 11 years ago in 2006. I'll be 70 in July, and this is my second annual Martha's Vineyard Mini Makers Fair. Last year I brought my presentation, which is known as the 3-Basket Project, and it was such a hit, I'm reprising it for your enjoyment. Years ago, when I was born, I got DNA from the mother and the father, both of whom were amazing idea inventor people. So I'm a double DNA inventor woman. As long as I was a child, I started having ideas, and I'd go to people and say, oh, I just had this great idea. What do you think of it? And what they would say to me is, Barbara, great idea, but now go and implement it, okay? There goes out a balloon of enthusiasm, and I'm back to ground zero. Meanwhile, I've got 60 years of ideas written in my idea basket, and one day, 2 years ago, I had this idea, and I said, let's take all the brains on the planet and sort them into one of 3 baskets: the invent basket, the implement basket, or the maintain basket. And so the inventors can do their inventing, the implement people can do the implementing of the ideas, and the maintainers can maintain what these 2 groups have generated. Last year, when my spiel was over, I said to each person, which one are you? And their responses were one of 2. Either they were clearly an inventor, an implementer, or a maintainer, before, they hesitated for a moment and said, well, I'm really 2 out of the 3. So, that is basically the end of my spiel, except for one more thing. We have a problem with something called conventional wisdom, where ideas have been generated that maybe at one time were appropriate, but now are no longer so appropriate, so we need to reinvent the conventional wisdom. So, for example, this is a problem and a solution. We all understand what the aspects are. When I take these, when I find them with clean water in them, and I take them home and put them in my coffee maker and make coffee out of them, okay? So then I have the bottle by itself and I dispose of that appropriately. Similarly, we have thousands and thousands of these that we throw away on Martha's Vineyard and everywhere else all year long. These are already recycled. They're virgin pulp. They're absolutely sterile. They're incredible. Let's at least put them in our fireplaces and our wood-burning stoves as kindling so we can lower our trash footprint. That is basically the end of my spiel.